I was paying like $1 a week, you know, a radio. I'll never forget the Zenith. It cost like about $10 or something, don't remember. And I was working. I worked very hard here in the States, no question about it. And then I was waiting for my citizenship. That was my goal, to bring that kid in here, because I was corresponding, and of course he was still like 8, 9 years old, and of course, unfortunately, you know, I was writing that I'll be coming and I'll be bringing him over and all that. And later on I found out that all the other kids were laughing at him. Oh, sure, your father's going to come. You know, when you hear it for a few years, you know, they feel that baloney. And of course I used to send them money. I used to send, you know, whatever they needed for the school. And my father used to see him. He wasn't that far away from him. And anyway, when I got the citizenship, just the minute I got it, I got on the plane and I went down there to bring him over, which I did. It was the best thing I ever could have done. Because, you know, my whole life wasn't that good, because I'm eating here good, and I'm thinking, oh, does he have enough over there? Does he, you know, I felt that, of course, it wasn't his fault, whatever he got into. But I brought him over here. And unfortunately, he already built such a resent until today, really. A horrible resent that he can never get through with that. But I did bring him in, and he stayed with me, of course. And I took him in to work for me a little bit, because I already, in 1957, I opened my own little place. Am I doing all right here? I took him in to work for me a little bit, because I already, in 1957, I opened my own little place. Am I doing all right here? It's okay? And so he stayed with me. I tried to teach him the dental technology, and he picked up on it a little. But then any little argument or anything is ready to leave, you know. So it took about a couple of years or so, 2, 3 years. I had him, of course, bar mitzvah at the age of 13. And I was dating girls that I wanted to make sure that they liked my son, because it was the most important thing in my life at the time. I wanted somebody that would just be nice to my kid. He had enough of unfortunate situations. And I did find somebody, after all. And I got married, and she was very good to him. She was really very good to him. She tried everything to make it as nice as possible. Of course, he kind of got impossible, and he done a lot of things that he ran away from home. He went to different states, and then he got into the service, and he got himself with some guys, and he got himself into little problems. And I had to send a lawyer over there to, you know, to save his behind. And he did go to jail for a little bit. And it wasn't anything, he didn't kill anybody or anything, but I think he had a little too much beer or something or whatever with the guys. And they caught him, but that finished, and he got out of there, and then he married somebody in New York, and I went to the wedding. We were making up together nicely, married a nice girl. And I was very happy about that. And of course, here I started to have my own kids, other kids. I held 3 kids here. And thank God, I'm very proud of them, all of them. And, but then other things came up. During all this period, you know, I want to say that I started drinking a lot. I started doing a lot of alcohol to get me going. I probably was very timid from the beginning, from when I was a kid, because I remember when I was a kid, 5, 6, 7 years old, I found a little cabinet with some sweet liquor, and get a little liquor in, and boy, macho boy, you know. And I was outside with the guys, and macho, so I liked that. I liked what that alcohol did to me. And probably all these adventures of mine during the whole time, I was drinking, of course. My resistance was okay, you know, I didn't fall off or anything, you know. But then this go on and on for a long time. And while I was here, I got involved, of course, in different things in the industry. I got on the board for the state, and then I became the president of the state dental laboratory industry. And then they got me into Washington, and I became the vice chairman of board of certification, not only for this country, but for other countries. But during this whole period, I was drinking. That gave me the courage to do all this. And I call it the alcohol, a friend of mine. A real good friend for a very long period of time. And I thought that the whole world is drinking, really, and maybe there are a few people don't. Anything that I was doing, date somebody, have sex with somebody or anything, I had to have the alcohol to do that. I couldn't have the courage not to. Well, I got to the point where my son was working for me at the time, and my wife, of course, knew, that I'm drinking too much. So between the two of them, they decided that I have to do something about it. And in 1973, as a matter of fact, this last Saturday was my 35 years in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. And my whole life completely changed. I'm a different person, of course, and I just made 80, where I couldn't have made it if I would have gone on with that. So I got into the program. My wife took the kids away from the house, and she says, if you don't call downtown, if you don't call AA, you're not going to see the kids, you're not going to see anybody. It's over. So I understood. I knew already this is the end. And sure enough, I called downtown, and two people came in, Chris Jones and Dan Pierce. I never forget their names. Rest in peace. And in AA, they say they 12-step you. They come and they 12-step you. They talk to you about it. They look at you, and that was on a Friday night. They looked at me and they said, well, we're thinking maybe we'll take you to a meeting, but you're in no shape for it. So don't drink tonight anything, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So they called me in the morning, and they said, how you doing? I said, I'm doing fine. He says, well, we thought that you shouldn't go into a treatment center because you're really in bad shape. And I was in that home without, she took the kids away and miserable. My sister came over. She was living not too far because I brought my sisters here from Romania, from Israel. I brought them over here. And she came over, and I couldn't even eat some soup. She had to help me hold a spoon to get it to my mouth. I was in bad shape. And this is a big story of my life, and this is it. I mean, it's very important because I got in. And of course, they came in Sunday, and they took me to a meeting, and it was my very fortunate thing that when I looked around and I heard those people, though I didn't understand exactly what they were saying, but I see them smiling and laughing and being good. And I had a good feeling, and even after 35 years, which I celebrated Saturday, and I had a good feeling that I belonged, no question about it. Some people have troubles recognizing that this is not, this is not for them, or this. In my case, and I hear it because I sponsor a lot of people. I've done a lot of 12-stepping other people, and I've done a lot of stuff helping other people, which I'm still doing, and I have retreats now that I'm involved with, and retreats from all different clubs and everything. They come over, and I was the master of the retreat, as a matter of fact, last year. And I share with the people. I mean, I help people. I try to touch people. I try to do what the program taught me. And the major thing in my life is I picked on the spirituality of the program. There's no question about it. There is no religious stuff. There is no Christian or Jewish, or there's nothing. There is there is something there, and there is no question in my mind. I talk to him every time. I talk to him at night. I talk to him in the morning. I'm very thrilled that I can do all that. And I have a total different life now. I mean, my life is completely different. Of course, after the divorce with Dad, I been for myself for a while, and then I found another lady about 22 years ago, and we went together for about 6 years. She accepted the fact that I am where I'm at, and I didn't lie about it. I told him the truth, and it's amazing. It's just like she, of course, she never had any problems with alcohol like I did, and it was amazing that she's just like the program lady, because she, that's my life. I mean, I that's all I do. I go quite a few days to meetings, every 3-4 meetings a week. I sponsor people. I touch people that I know that, I spoke this Saturday when it was my anniversary, and I spoke over there, and there were people that I remember them coming in as like my babies, They came in and I see them growing up, I see them getting strong. And every one of us in the comments they have after somebody speaks in a meeting like that, everyone you touched me. You are so good to me. You are the example of yours. It's why I'm here, and I have a good life today. And it makes me feel like $1 million. I mean, there's nothing, money wouldn't do that. I see, I go to a lot of meetings, and a lot of people in the Chicago area, of course. I was involved with setting up the Alamo Club on the north side of Chicago. It first was on Broadway, and a few of us decided to sell the building on Broadway and to buy a building on Lincoln Avenue. We bought a building that used to be a bar and a restaurant. We made a fantastic club out of it. We just celebrated 50 years, which is the whole club that was on Broadway first. But this one is like about 32 years. So some of us put some money together, and we have a place for people coming in. We have all kinds of meetings, Al-Anon meetings, children of alcoholics meetings, meetings continuously, meetings, parties on every holidays and everything that is there. And of course I was the president of that club, and I'm a trustee right now of that club. And I told him, I spoke to the 50th anniversary. I said, that club saved my life, and there's no question in my mind that until I die, I'll always do anything I can for this club so it saves other people, which it does. It does a lot. And a lot of my people that came in with me, of course, some of them passed away. I'm still around. There are a few of us approximately the same ages, and we look at each other, and we have a big list there of people that died, and a few of us still alive and still holding together the club, and very proud of it. I mean, that's my life today. There's no question about it. I wouldn't know how to live without it. I get up in the morning, I have my 24-hour book that I read, of course, and I talk to God in the morning, and I talk to him during the day and says, oh, thanks. I not necessarily that I became, the spiritual life of this program gave me a total different look at anybody. My wife that we're together now, we're together between the 6 years that we went together, then we got married. It's like 22, 23 years together, and I never dreamed of having such a good life. And she's, like I said, she's not a program, but she picked on the program just like I am. And of course, my life is program. All my friends are program. I mean, any place we go, it's program. And I feel wonderful about that. God has been good to me, very good to me, and very grateful for it. I know what I miss. Probably I did miss some stuff. Yes, I did. I did miss it.
Can I interrupt?
Sure, please. Yeah.
How long were you in the labor camp for?
The labor camp for about a few months. A few months.
What was
the condition we were staying at the farms. The farmers, where they have the hay or something, they put us to sleep there, and the food was coming from the city. The Jewish community used to have big barrels with soup and stuff, and they used to send it over. So every day they used to deliver stuff for us.
What happened to your family through that
The what?
period? What happened to your family through that period?
My family was in the city. My family was in the city. My father was coming with the food. He got a job because he was much older, and he got a job from the community too. So I used to see my father once in a while. And as a matter of fact, my father made a deal with some of the officers over there. My father was in shoe business, and I think gave a pair of shoes to somebody to give me 3 days to come home, but with a soldier, not leave me alone, to see the family. So that was the biggest thing that when I came in town, and I could tell the people that, oh, everybody's okay, everybody's all right, this one, everybody wanted to know, and that was it, yeah.
What was it like to cross so many protected borders and live in a refuge for
I'll tell you, I think at that time, we used to call, there were fearers, there were people that they would have a group of people that you pay them, and they'll take you through different ways that you can get through, that they knew where to go through. And they used to do it like during the night, like from Hungary to Austria, through the Black Forests. It's when I say Black Forest, it's black, So they used to take us very quietly. My God, used to take us. It was quite an experience. But I think you get the courage because there's no alternative. There's no way to turn back.
Yeah.
There's no way to turn back. You get killed, you get turn back. So we got to keep going. There's no question about it at that time. And there were so many people that did that at the time. My gosh, and especially some of us. We had to do it. I mean, there was no.
I'm sure there must have been a sense of fear during all this.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I say that not always, but some of the times I had to have a little sip of something to give me courage. There's no question about it. And that's why I call the alcohol a friend of mine.